Okay, after free agency, there's clearly a better Lions roster than there was before free agency. And we can all agree with that. But I think there's still a couple of positions where it's like, okay, let's address this. Let's either garner some depth, some potential starting capabilities. And one of those is at linebacker. And I think at linebacker, there's one pick that maybe could go second, mid to late second, maybe even last to late third, or early third to mid third, that I think the Detroit Lions could look at the linebacker position. Now, I like quite a few linebackers, but just for fun, we're only going to pick one in this one. And I know what you're thinking. Is it Deion Henley? No, he's not going to last that long. Also, he's older. Um, he's older, and that's not the end of the world. Don't get me wrong; it's not. He plays like it's a little old. Is it Jack Campbell? Don't worry, I will do a video on Jack Campbell because there are a lot of things I like about him. There's a couple things I really don't like about him as well. And then we have this guy, the relatively unknown by a lot of people, Drew Sanders. So, who is this man? Well, first, what we're going to do is we're going to start talking about some of the PFF stuff. I'm going to tell you what he excels at and what upside he brings that I don't think Jack Campbell brings. And then we're going to go and look at some draft profile stuff. So, hang in here. First, we're going to look at the PFF. He has a very interesting story. Drew Sanders was originally, I think, in 2020, the class of 2020. He came out. That was his first year with Alabama. He was a 5-star recruit. And if you understand star rankings, if you're a 5-star recruit, that means that you should translate into a first-round NFL draft pick. He has that type of talent. Alabama played him on the edge as a pass rusher. And then he transferred to Arkansas, and he went from, you can see down here, he went from playing 52 snaps as a freshman, 284 as a sophomore, to 846 snaps. 846 snaps as a junior at more of a stack linebacker position. Yeah, stack linebacker. And so what we hear and what we see here that I think is just absolutely crazy is you have this guy that goes from being a 5-star athlete. He comes over and he plays the position fairly well, not extremely well, but fairly well. I just want to make sure that's known. But here's what pops out. If you are done watching this video, go type in Drew Sanders highlights. Do it. Do what you want. And what you see for the first 2.5 minutes of highlights is sacks. And what he is very, very good at doing is blitzing and rushing the passer from the linebacker position. He gets that because of his time at the edge. He knows how to get home. Now, with that also comes some of the other things. You'll sometimes see him stay in his set too long. He stays set and he's just looking, reading. He's not as quick to read and react. But his athleticism usually more than makes up for it. It usually more than makes up for it. So let's just do a little bit more and let's look at what he is as a prospect. All right. He's out of Texas. He's a junior. So that's one thing that I like about him. He's only 21 years old. He has good height, decent weight, and everything that you need. Here's what we can find out. And I like going to the strengths and weaknesses. Strengths, demeanor and traits of a playmaker. He's long, he's explosive, rangy, versatile. He can line up at inside linebacker or as an outside rusher. Multiple. We know we like doing these things. If you can put him in as a stack linebacker and then all of a sudden change your look and put him coming in off the edge, it completely changes the look for it completely changes the look for the offense. All right. Wickedly fluid slide and swim move as an A-, B- or C- gap rusher. In other words, across the whole line. All right. He possesses athletic ability to beat tackles around the edge. He's willing to dart into gaps, lateral scope quickness to beat blocker, contact balance keeps him upright in the play, and capable sideline to sideline pursuit. He's fast. All right. He's not slow. When you see him, you're like, man, this guy is quick. All right, so here's the weaknesses. Much shorter list. Just one season as a full-time starter. We'll need to add more mass and base strength. Yeah, he's going from the edge to a role where he's contact in the open field. That makes sense. Inconsistent in reading his keys for misdirection. There you go. Same change of direction, delaying coverage, pursuit leverage, and tackle balance needs improvements and allows runners to slip away from his grasp. He had 22 missed tackles this year. So I'm going to look at two things right now. The player I would compare him to, and you're going to be like, all right, then don't draft him. On the Lions, it's not that he plays like this player. I think he is a combination of James Houston and Derek Barnes. Derek Barnes was moved from the edge to a stack linebacker at Purdue, but it's because he wasn't a great edge. Like, he wasn't doing phenomenal things. Houston was moved from a linebacker to an edge position. Okay. So, and then he thrived there. What you're seeing with this guy is the flip of Houston, where he went from being an edge to being a linebacker, and he was successful there. Look at this NFL comparison. Tremaine Edmunds. Are you kidding me? Is that the same Tremaine Edmunds? Correct me if I'm wrong, that just signed like a $70 million deal with the Chicago Bears. That is a really, really good NFL comparison. I mean, I could be wrong on this, but to me, that feels like a really, really good thing. So when you look at this guy in Drew Sanders, and when you see it, I think that the linebacker position is not in need of an immediate starter. They're not. They just signed Alex Anzalone to a 3-year, $18 million deal. They have Malcolm Rodriguez. They like to play only two linebackers. But we need to add depth at that position. And we have the luxury of being able to do that. But I'm telling you, this is a guy that can make us even more multiple, can play multiple positions. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of multiple, right? Like, isn't that the whole point? So he is one of these guys that can do this. He absolutely is. And he has a lack of experience, which is perfect. Isn't this why you re-sign a guy like Alex Anzalone? So that when you have young linebackers that come into the team, they have time to develop and grow. We have, and Brad Holmes has said this, GMs before him have said this, GMs across the league say this. You go to free agency for your immediate needs, and then you go to the draft for future needs. We saw that play out with our team this year. I think about our team this year. Think about how bad that defense was in the first 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks, and how much better that defense played down the stretch. It's because we needed to rely on rookies in order to play immediately. And those rookies weren't ready. But by the end of the year, after they got some playing time, after they had settled into the NFL, the defense started to produce. Those rookies started to play like second-year players. So I don't think, and we have to get used to this as Lions fans, it's okay if we draft someone that has the upside that is phenomenal in the second round or third round, but they're not going to start right away. We can't expect all of our players to start right away. Yeah, first round pick, probably. But second round pick, maybe. But third round, no, not necessarily. This isn't the Lions from the last decade where we need 5 of our 7 picks to start right away and play well to even have a chance to make the playoffs. That's not what this team is. I think if you didn't draft anybody in this draft, we already have a roster that's playoff ready. So let's go out and get guys that could be phenomenal players. And I think he, of the linebackers, while absolutely the biggest risk of the top 3 linebackers, also could be the biggest reward. And that's why I'm saying go for him. I'm sure I'll talk about other linebackers as well. All right. See you on the next one. Oh, I forgot some stuff. Like, yeah, I'm going to see you on the next one. Hit the subscribe button. What are we doing? Like, hit the subscribe button. It's a great way to know. Make sure you have the notifications on so you know when we put new videos out. Maybe become a member of the channel, and definitely leave a comment. Who's your favorite linebacker in this class? I'm not saying Drew Sanders is my favorite linebacker in the class, but I am saying I would love for the Detroit Lions to draft him. Now I will see you on the next one.